Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Raeann, but you can call me Ray. Today's video is super exciting for two separate reasons. The first thing is we get to play with a new foundation, and not only is it a new foundation, but it's also a new brand. So they are a new, I'm going to call them an indie brand. They are a clean beauty brand, and it's super exciting. Like, once you see this packaging, you're just gonna be like in awe, like I was, like I know you are. This is Exa Beauty. They came out with a foundation and also a primer. The foundation is $38 and it does come in 43 shades, which is amazing for a foundation to just have launched and to already come in so many different shades. That's amazing. Like, that's how everything should be, like for foundation, powder, concealer, like it should be inclusive like that, but amazing. And they also, so before I move on, this retails for $38 and they also have a primer that goes with it that is $34. If you buy them together, you get a discount. I believe you save like $13 or $14 if you buy them together, which I decided to do just because, you know, you do get the discount, so why not? Let me grab my receipt. So with the discount, I got the foundation for $31 and the primer for $28. So it is definitely like high-end brand pricing, especially since before the discount, the foundation is $38 and then the primer, almost forgot the word for that, is $34. So definitely up there in price, but with the bundle it does help you save a little bit of money, so that's always good. I mean, look at this packaging. This is just so clean, so sleek, like, and I guess, are they glass bottles? You know, you always can do that check where you like tap your nails on them, but I literally have nothing for nails, so I'm gonna say this one for sure is like a glass. I don't actually think this one is. Maybe it is. Honestly, don't know. Super cute. On the top has a little E on there. And then this is the foundation up close. Super nice packaging. The primer. And I just want to show you guys the boxes that these came in. Yes, I kept them. I got this in the mail yesterday and I took a few like flat lay shots of them and decided not to do the video yesterday because it's been crazy hot in California. Like, you literally just don't want to leave your house. Like, I mean, obviously quarantine's still a thing, but now that more things are open, you kind of are a little more free to go out and do some things. Like, you can shop at other places that weren't open a couple months ago, all of that. Do outdoor dining if you want to, but it's just been so hot. Like, I know I said in my last video that it was 109 degrees. Since that day, which was last week, it has been over 100 since then. It's crazy. So this is the box. Let's see, this was the box that the primer came in, and this is the box that the foundation came in. So super cool. I love that they have a little cutout right there so you can see the actual packaging of the product when it's in the box. Super cute, just very like different. I like that. Both boxes have this on them, so let's see, very like, I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not because it might not actually focus on it, but they do have writing, like, I'm gonna say engraved, that's the best way of saying it, on the packaging, which I thought was really cool. There's just, the packaging is very minimal, but also like it's just different. Like, that's just, you know, I feel like there isn't anything else that I've ordered that's come in a box like this, that has looked like this, that, you know, that the bottles look like this. Like, it's just different, it's fresh, and it's fun. That's the best way to describe it. I don't remember if I already mentioned this, which I think I probably should have by now, but they are a clean beauty brand, and this product, or these products, I believe, are vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free, and probably a bunch of other things that I'm forgetting because I just forget things pretty easily. I do recommend going through their ingredients, by the way, because I did kind of go through them and I noticed they had a bunch of different fruit extracts, and I think the foundation might have some sort of like coconut infused in it. So I don't know how the ingredients in products overlay and like translate to people who have allergies to certain things, but I would just recommend looking at them just in case. I don't know if it's diluted enough that if you did have an allergy to certain things that, you know. Anyways, I'm just like kind of just blabbing that and like putting that out there. So let's go ahead and talk about the primer a little bit more. That way we can go ahead and apply that. So this is the Jumpstart Smoothing Primer. It says charged with triple antioxidant blend. Okay, I got that. Soothing cocoa fruit powder and free radical fighting fatty acids deliver a breakthrough blurring effect. So this is a blurring primer, which is great. I love those. And let's see. Effect that creates a canvas of possibility for any skin tone. All right, so semi-matte finish for all skin types, ages, and people. So this is pretty cool. I actually didn't really read into the primer before I purchased it. That's kind of like a bad habit of me. Like, I just saw that they were cheaper together, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try both. Let's just do that. So I do like the fact that it's gonna be a blurring primer. I do like that, and the semi-matte finish, I'm all about those. So also, why did I slam that on the desk while I was talking? No idea. But I'm also pretty stoked for that. So let's go ahead and just talk about it. Let's see, is there anything else on here that I should mention to you guys? Also, the boxes are all recycle or compost. Let's see. There's also an inner tray that's also either of those. And then, let's see. The bottles you can rinse and recycle. The caps you would just throw away. It says it's too small to recycle, and same thing with the pump. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. I love the colors on this, by the way. I love the colors of the packaging. That's weird. It's like a brush, but kind of would have preferred if it was like a dropper or something. But yeah, that is the applicator. I don't know. It's like a hard stick thing. What am I supposed to do with that? I'm like trying to use it as a brush, but it's definitely not a brush. It's like a harder plastic. Is there an actual way to like pump this? Okay, very weird. Well, I'm just gonna rub that in the back of my hand because, yeah, this is a very, I don't know how well you can see it, very strange applicator. And it like is plastic, so it doesn't move. It's not like brush or bristles or anything. So just gonna try to scoop this up. I'm gonna be really embarrassed if there is a better way of doing this, because I'm really not understanding this applicator. So I'm just gonna try to scoop the amount that I think I need. So just kind of did that, and just gonna kind of pat that on. Trying to see if there's really a smell to it. I did just apply lotion earlier, so I could be smelling that as well. So I'm just gonna smell it from the applicator just to see if there is any sort of scent. I know some people don't like scents to their makeup products. I just like applied that to my earring. There you go, little moon earring. You get some primer too. Alright, let me grab a mirror to see if I'm really seeing any sort of blurring to this. Feels like something's pilling up on my face. I'm not exactly sure if that's the primer and the moisturizer like not getting along, but I'm gonna just apply a little bit more in here, and then also take a little bit more on my forehead. Okay, so I do see that blurring a tiny bit. I do see the blurring effect. I'm not sure if adding any more is going to make it any more intense or not, but we'll just go ahead and get into applying the foundation. So for the foundation, I got the shade James 410. This is a lighter, so this is in the category light. They did have 4 or 5, I think it was like 4 categories, and you can kind of just go on their website and click the category and you answer like a couple questions, and then it gives you recommendations of the foundations, and I think it also explains like the difference between them. So I tried it a couple times, and every single time I ended up with this shade James. So this does say to shake it, and then let me just read the claims of the foundation. Protective microalgae actives. I read that as activities and I was like, wait a second. Soothing, some sort of berry that I don't know how to pronounce. Hydrating hyaluronic acid team up with advanced pigment technology to wear light and last long. Okay. Buildable finish for all skin types, all ages, and all people. And alright, so that's about it there. On their website, it says that you can either apply this with your fingers or with whatever tool that you like. Let's go ahead and look at the applicator. So I think this is just the same weird, hard thing that I don't quite understand. Kind of not really, like, unless I'm just not understanding this applicator, I just don't get it. I don't know. I kind of would have been happier if it was like a brush or something, but just this weird, like, plastic thing, unless I'm doing it wrong, which, again, would be mildly embarrassing if I'm just missing something, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like it because it makes it messy to try to scoop everything out unless you're just not supposed to use very much product at all. Which, I mean, this is probably more of a natural, like, finish. It says it's buildable, but it doesn't really specify if it's supposed to be. So I'm just going to take this on my hands. We're just going to go. And one thing I already noticed when I got the foundation is this is definitely probably going to be too dark for me. This seems like it has a scent too. It smells kind of orangey. I don't usually apply my foundation like this unless it's like a tinted moisturizer, but I don't know. I feel like this is supposed to be more of a kind of your skin but better effect. So I'm just gonna, I feel like when it's something like that, it's always better just to do with your fingers because that's the most natural application. This definitely looks very like golden, like warm toned as well. I don't know. It looked like it could be, especially in the bottle, it looked like it could be too dark for me. Even right now, it looks like it's gonna be too dark, but feels nice though. It feels pretty lightweight. Probably should have just done one side of my face and then showed you guys what it looked like, which I kind of did. I kind of started on this side, but probably should have done a better comparison, but my bad. Okay. Trying to see how that looks. Ooh, I'm very like glowy. Damn, okay. So they didn't really claim to be a glowy foundation necessarily, but okay. I'm like, this is like that glass skin sort of look. I wonder if that's just the combination of the primer and the foundation, or if it's like my moisturizer, the primer, and the foundation. Holy crap. Okay, so I definitely have oily skin, so I will have to powder, but I don't know, is this the right color? It looks like it's probably a little too dark for me. Of course, I'm wearing a shirt that goes up really high on the neck too, so it's kind of hard to see. I mean, compared to my chest, it's definitely darker. Yeah, it does look like it's a little bit on the darker side. You know what I want to do now is I'm just going to add, for a little bit more coverage, I'm just going to add a little bit more on a beauty blender, on a sponge, and just try to build that up. Honestly, been going for a little bit more of a natural finish, kind of, especially in the summer. I haven't been going too heavy with my foundation. This is definitely a very glowy foundation, which I don't think that even said that's what that was. Hydrating hyaluronic acid to wear light and last long. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't expecting this kind of finish. Not saying I don't like it, but I just was not expecting it to look like that. I wasn't expecting it to be matte necessarily. Okay, so wow. I'm very, very glowy. Like, holy crap, my cheeks. Okay, so for sure, if you like glowy foundations, you should probably try this. Which is actually kind of surprising because the primer said it was a blurring foundation. So when I think of blurring, I kind of feel like, you know, it kind of smooths and smooths out your pores, and then kind of gives you more of a matte finish. But this foundation is kind of doing the opposite, definitely making me very glowy. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup. I just wanted to do a very simple kind of look today with just a little bit of liner, and I'm gonna do some lashes and just finish up the rest of my face. I will do concealer and a little bit of powder just because with this right now, with how everything is looking, if I don't powder this, even though I kind of prefer not to do that for first impression's sake, just to kind of set my makeup and kind of get it to look a little bit more of how I like my foundation to look, I am gonna do some powder. And I won't powder throughout the day so you guys can see how it's gonna wear after I kind of did all of that, but I am definitely gonna do some powder because I am a little more glassy than I want to be. So gonna go ahead and do that, and then I will just show you guys what everything looks like before I basically go on with my day and do the wear test. So yeah, actually I can kind of show you guys right now. Hopefully I don't have any missing blended spots here, but right in here you can kind of see I do have rosacea in here, so I didn't do, it does show some dark spots in here. I wonder, should I try building it up? Kind of torn if I want to try to build it up or not, because I think that's just gonna really make me even more glowy. So I think I'll just leave it where it is and kind of do some concealer to kind of just add to it and cover up some of the spots that the foundation didn't. But I'm not surprised at the overall coverage of it, and I'm not mad at it either. I definitely was going into this thinking it was definitely going to be super skin-like, especially by all of their campaign images. It basically looks like their models are not wearing makeup at all. So this kind of gives me that look. It would probably photograph that way just for me and how I normally do my makeup. I am going to do a little bit of concealer and kind of cover up those areas that need to be covered up a little bit better. I am getting some creasage in my nose area, but to be honest, I always kind of do, regardless of the foundation. It's just kind of the shape of my nose always does that. But yeah, you can see in there it didn't completely cover everything. Definitely giving me that natural look, but I mean, you can't beat that glow. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup. I'll show you guys what everything looks like and how it looks with my finished makeup, and yeah, I'll go about my day and then do a check-in. But before I do that, I will show you guys what everything looks like before. Okay, so this is what everything looks like with a full face of makeup on. Not bad. I am seeing, let's see, not bad. I'm not fully sure how I feel about it yet. I'm gonna have to see what everything looks like in pictures and all of that. So far I don't think it looks too bad. I feel like this look might be a little too drastic for the finish of the foundation, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. We'll go from there. I'm gonna get you guys in a little bit closer. But this is how everything is looking so far. I still see some of my like redness poking through, so there's that. But overall, I don't know, here it doesn't look that good. Like actually seeing it on the camera, like view of it doesn't look that great right now, at least. I don't know, with everything together. But in person, it didn't seem like it looked too bad. It actually seemed like it looked really nice. So I'll have to see what everything looks like in a little bit and kind of go from there, how everything wears. I am doing a wear test. I don't know how long it's going to be, probably a couple hours. But I'm going to do the wear test and I'll check in with you guys and let you know my first impression thoughts of this foundation. I was going to say palette because I always do a palette. But I'll let you guys know how I'm feeling about the foundation. It's like I was going on a commercial break. Yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, so I'm back. We are on, let's see, about 7 hours wear right now. I put this on in the afternoon and it's about 9 o'clock now. So actually almost 8 hours because I think I put it on around like 1:30, maybe 2, and now it's 9 o'clock. So yeah, I guess you guys probably want to know what I did and why my face looks like this, all of that. So I did no touch-ups after I checked in the last time. So once I showed you what my face looked like before I went on with my day, I didn't do any touch-ups at all. So the original application, I did use a little bit of powder just to kind of make me a little more matte, especially in this heat. It's just, this would have looked way worse at the end of the day had I not done that. But I did not do any sort of touch-ups, blotting, anything after. So this is just nothing at all after that. So keep that in mind. The things that I did. So honestly, for most of the day, I kind of just stayed home. I did go out briefly. I tried to get some hair dye because my hair needs a little refreshing, which is why it's pulled back right now. But I went to 2 Sally's that are within like a mile away from each other. They both are closed, so I don't know if they're just closing temporarily back again, like because of the virus, or if it's something specific to my area, or what it was. And then I also tried to go to Ulta, which was not successful, and it was a very weird interaction, and I just like turned around and went back in my car. So there's that. And then I guess I could elaborate on that really fast. Basically, I was walking up and there was someone who was working there was like looking outside, and they were on the phone. Like they were in the building, but they were on the phone looking outside, like pressed up against the window. And I've been in that situation a couple times, and usually that means someone walked away with stuff. That's usually what it means. I don't know. There was like nobody in the parking lot, which is really strange for an Ulta. So yeah, there was that. And I was like, are they open? There's nobody in here. And I like got halfway to walking to the store from my parking spot, and they turned off all of the lights. It's like, okay. So I turned around and I was like trying to ask the person, like, you know, like from far away. And they like just stared at me the whole time. And I was like, okay. So once they turned the lights off, I turned around, went in my car. Once I got in my car, they turned the lights back on. And I was like, and this is like 45 minutes before they were supposed to close. So I know it's like cutting it close a little bit, but they were my last resort and I knew exactly what I was getting, so there's that. Yeah, oh my god, tangent. So yes. Anyways, I did some of that stuff. We just took Sophie on a walk, so I look probably extra sweaty. And it was like in the 90s today, and right now it's about 80, so I was in the heat for a little bit, but not too much. But right before I filmed this, we did take her, my dog, on a walk for about 20-30 minutes, like 20 minutes. So yes. Okay, so this is what everything is looking like right now. Obviously, I am super mega completely crazy oily right now. That is my skin. That's just me, especially in this area, and I do get pretty shiny right in here. So is this the worst that it's ever looked? No, but it's definitely looked a lot better than this. So trying to think of, like, it's definitely not a mattifying foundation, so that probably has a big factor on that and why I look like this now. So, you know, if I probably powdered throughout the day, blotted, I'm sure this would look a lot better than what it looks like now. It's just honestly a part of my skin type. This is actually very normal for me if I'm not, you know, diligent and not looking at my skin and powdering. And obviously I have a combo of stuff that I like using that definitely prevents me from looking like this without having to touch up throughout the day. This is zero touch ups at all. So that being said, I'm not upset with how this looks because for my skin type, this is normal. Like, this is not unusual whatsoever. It's not really from the foundation, most likely. I mean, maybe the finish plus just me and my skin type in general, and there are ways to avoid it. What I probably would have done in this case, I have a good combo of primer and powder that I like to use. So if I used a different powder with this foundation, it might have looked, or a primer with this foundation, it might have looked a little bit differently. That way I could have, like, what I usually do for primer is I do blurring primer in this area, then I do matte primer in this area and in this area, and that usually works pretty damn good for me. So that being said, I feel like the foundation probably would have looked a lot different if I was able to do that and I didn't just use their primer. But that being said, I probably would have used this one and a mattifying primer in those areas like these to really solidify the fact that I don't want to be shiny. Not super shiny, at least. So anyways, let's actually talk about how I'm feeling about everything so far, since we already know what it looks like. I did like the primer. I am curious to see how it compares to my other blurring primers. I really liked there's a couple of them that I really like, so I'm not sure if this one is like how it compares to all of my other primers. I did like it so far, but on a normal day, like especially right now in the summer, I would have to use this and a mattifying primer. That's just how my skin is. Overall, I'm liking the primer so far. I was trying to see if it had a smell because that was something that I like totally forgot to like check, but it doesn't really have a smell. If anything, it kind of has like a light like lotiony smell, if that makes sense. Foundation definitely has a scent, kind of smells kind of orangey, like citrusy, but very light, not super heavy. But I did like the primer. I'm excited to use it again. I will most likely right now have to combine it with other primers, but I did like the primer so far. It's a very light primer, which is nice. I'm not crazy about the applicator, so there's that. Yeah, the applicator on both the foundation and the primer aren't the best, but that's something that I can live around it. Does that make sense? I can live around it? Yeah, I can work around it. There we go. That makes a little more sense. So yeah, so far liking the primer. In the winter I'll probably be able to use it by itself, but right now I'd have to definitely combine it with others, and I'm interested to see like comparing it to my other foundations. So if you guys have a primer that you would like me to compare it to, let me know. I might not actually have a primer, but if I do, I wouldn't mind doing a video for you guys. For the foundation, overall, I actually did like the foundation. I will say, and this is my biggest thing with foundations that are high-end price but don't give you a full coverage, is I can buy a drugstore BB cream to give me the same effect for way less. Because that's basically how I view lighter coverage foundations, and this does say that you can build it up, and no, I didn't really try to build it up, so that's something I can do in the future. But right now, for how I'm wearing my makeup, I'm not putting a whole lot of face makeup on just because it's just so hot outside that you know? I basically would only do full makeup if I'm laying around the house and not going anywhere, because if I'm going outside, there's literally almost no point, because it's miserably hot. I'll definitely have to try to build it up a little bit more, but I did like the overall look of it. It definitely gives you that you're not wearing makeup sort of thing, so it's not really fully covering a lot. It's not a full coverage foundation from what I've seen now. I haven't really tried to build it up to be a full coverage foundation. The way that it's advertised is it doesn't really look like that's what it's supposed to be like. What it's advertised like is basically what my skin looks like now, but like minus the shine, you know? So what I looked like a couple hours ago, that's what it's advertised like. So not a very full coverage, just very natural, but still, like, you know, you can kind of see some bumps and stuff, but overall you just look, I don't even know what direction I'm going in, but from all of the pictures that I've seen, it's just a very clean, fresh, like, that's it. It's basically supposed to look exactly like your skin, but maybe kind of help sort things out a little bit. I don't know. The way I'm describing stuff tonight is just like crazy. Like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now. So yeah, so far I did like the way that it looked. Obviously I'm not happy with the way that it wore, but it's not really anything surprising to me, because I'm pretty confident that I could make it look different when I'm using my arsenal of stuff that my go-tos in combination to this. But my biggest thing is this going to be something that I'm going to love so much that I'm going to want to spend $38 on again? Because like I said, unless it's going to be a full coverage, which I haven't tried to do yet, usually I wouldn't want to spend that amount of money on something that is just like a BB or CC cream, essentially, because there's so many good BB and CC creams on the market that are at the drugstore that usually you have to be like, you know, just amazing for me personally to want to spend the $38 again. Or in this case it was like $31. But, you know, so far I think this is a pleasant product. Like, that's the best way that I can describe it. It actually was a lot more glowy than I thought too, so if you do like more of a glowy finish, I feel like you would really like this. And especially if you're someone who doesn't do a full coverage foundation very often, just very light, this will be something that you would probably really like. I'm just gonna have to see how it is trying to build it up a little bit more, but like I said, I'm not really building up my foundation right now. So the amount that I applied today was the amount that I would apply using anything else that I own, because that's about what I'm doing right now. So with that being said, I did think it looked really nice. Obviously it didn't wear the best, but of course, with the weather and all of that, I'm not surprised that I looked like this. Many things would make me look like this, especially without blotting or using a mattifying, like super mattifying, like primer or anything like that. I definitely feel confident that there are things that I could do to make this more work withable for me personally. But as a first impression, especially how it looked earlier, I did think that it was really nice. Like, I thought that my skin looked really nice, very fresh, and like I said, it just looked like my skin without being super heavy. And it's definitely one of those, like, maybe you just want a little bit of makeup, but you don't want to sit there and spend an hour on your makeup and build up your foundation, and maybe you're just popping on some brows and doing a little bit of mascara, but you want a little bit of like coverage. This would be really nice. So I'm excited to keep using it. I want to play with it a little bit to see like what else I can get from it. So far, I'm gonna say I'm hopeful. It definitely, I mean, this is a first impression, so I don't have a complete answer for you guys so far, but it did look pretty nice in the beginning, so I'm excited to keep playing with it, see what else I can do with the foundation, see what else I can do with the primer, what other foundations I can use with this primer. I can also still use it with this foundation, but like I said, definitely will be using some like matte putty primer or something like that just to kind of help me out in those oily spots But so far, I'm going to say so far so good. I will let you guys know if my opinion changes. If you have anything you want me to compare it to, just let me know. I definitely would be open to doing that. So if there's any comparison videos you guys would like to see, just let me know. But I think we're just going to leave it here. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. If you, oh, you know what? I didn't even show you guys fully close up and I just rambled. Hold on. So this is everything closer up. So very oily. You can see my spots in there still. Some of this is blush, some of this is just rosacea. Very oily up in here. Super oily in here. I mean, my nose and this area are just oily in general. But you can definitely see some of my flaws through the foundation. But overall, you know, this is what it looks like. But without actually going over all of that stuff again, I'm just gonna leave this video here. So if you liked it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We'll see you next time.